I mean, again, we don't know much about it. The only thing I can definitely say for sure is that it has also been announced that this is the first Fire Emblem game to have downloadable content.
Which is intriguing, and it also makes me very, very glad that my internet doesn't suck anymore.
Hooray!
It also makes me wish I had money.
It's also pretty interesting to note that this is the first Nintendo game, period, that has downloadable content. This is something Nintendo has been keen to avoid up until now. But the basic details, it's basically downloadable trial maps, you know, kind of like the ones you got at the end of Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. And I think you could also get a couple on the Game Boy Fire Emblems, I'm not sure. Someone will have to fill me in on that.
Yeah, actually there were trial maps at the end of 6, but not very many people would know that because, you know, it's 6.
Yeah, it never got released outside of Japan.
Stop.
Yeah, which is kind of strange considering that's the game with Roy in it, you know, but anyway.
Yeah, something tells me they just had to really, really quickly mock up a character that looked as much like Roy as possible to release the game so everyone would buy it anyway.
Yeah, that might explain a lot, but anyway. But before anyone panics, it's been confirmed that downloadable content won't have anything to do with the story in any way, which is kind of a relief in that sense. Although, it might be cool to have one or two extra units you could use for the downloadable content, I'm not sure. But, yeah, it's a really cool announcement. I just kind of wish there was a little bit more information on what the game would be like, to be honest.
Yeah. Same here, really. I mean, Serenez does have a few tidbits, but... Wait a minute, I just looked it up, and Jump Information, the latest issue of Jump, confirms the inclusion of Marth, the main character of Shadow Dragon and Mystery of the Emblem, in the game.
Okay. You can't see it, but I'm desperately trying to type in Serenez Forest into Google to find that out.
Hey guys, it's called research. You may want to try it sometime.
Research? What's that?
Oh, sigh. But okay, yeah, the fact that we found out that Marth's in it's going to be interesting. I mean, if that's him in the magazine scan, Marth appears to be wearing a mask.
I just looked up the character section on that site. Marth, a swordsman who claims to be Marth, the hero king of legends. He wields a sword that's similar to Crom's treasured sword, Falchion. And he looks distinctly like a villain.
Yeah, this is gonna be pretty interesting, I must admit.
And I cannot help but be amused by the fact that the first Myrmidon revealed, Ronku, that's his Japanese name at least, looks almost exactly like Mugen from Samurai Champloo.
Okay, I found Liz, Frederick, Ronku. Okay, yeah, he definitely looks like Mugen. Okay, that twist on Marth sounds honestly really interesting. I mean, it's kind of interesting to know it's continuing that universe, but...
It's also really interesting to note that Marth's mask looks like Papillon. Anyway!
Well, yeah, that is an interesting thing. I actually can't believe I didn't see that, but what's interesting is that this is actually sounding like a similar setup to Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World.
Actually, it kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing may depend on your point of view, but it's kind of interesting that you have someone who's claiming to be Marth, and, well, okay, yeah, admittedly we don't know whether this guy is going to be a villain. I mean, yeah, his design says that, but he could also just be like a mysterious wanderer or whatever, so...
But yeah, I see what you mean, because Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World had the whole Lloyd clone thing.
Well, it's part Lloyd clone, part... Oh, it's just so convoluted and stupid, I don't want to get into it now, but the point... But yeah, the point is, that's all looking really cool.
Yeah. There's also a speculation page, and the most badass shot of Marth I've ever seen. And Marth is kind of boring, so that's impressive.
Okay, compliment location. One thing I can definitely mention now is that another thing that has made it confirmed that characters from previous games will appear in the downloadable content scenario, which...
I find amazing, actually, because that kind of reminds me of Valkyria Chronicles. After you beat the game, you can unlock characters who had died in the previous games as parts of your teams. And
oh, wow.
I really kind of thought that was cool.
That does sound cool, and actually just looking from this title, what's even more interesting is that not only do we have someone claiming to be Marth wielding Falchion, but Chrom, the main protagonist, also seems to be wielding Falchion himself.
And wasn't Chrom wielding 2 Falchions in one of the trailers?
He was wielding 2 swords. I don't know if they're both Falchions, though.
That would be awesome if they were, but yeah.
I think it was Chrom. It was someone wielding 2 swords, I can say that much.
Yeah. Also, looking at this picture, I cannot help but notice how much Chrom looks like Vanguard Ike.
I was actually gonna say, he looks very similar to Marth, so I don't know how far in the future it's set in Marth's universe. Okay.
I did notice that too. They have the exact same hair color.
Yeah. Another thing that I've just noticed as well that looks kind of eerie. I was going to mention one vaguely before we started looking at Seren's Polish for research. It seems to have a lot more anime styling to it, so I don't know, because we've seen that there's some screenshots here that they're going to be like cut it into the mugshot, and they all look much more anime-esque. I mean, okay, yeah, the Fire Emblem character design has been anime-ish, but just compared to Radiant Dawn, which had a massive focus on CGI, like full 3D models, I'm wondering if there's going to be more of an animated focus, like whether the special cutscenes, if they exist, are going to be full animations rather than just 3D models.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder that too, because they're giving it this whole graphical boost, and I can't help but wonder if they're doing that entirely to make, well, more appealing looking cutscenes. Or cutscenes that are easier to make. I don't know.
Yeah, that could work, although I can't say 2D animation and 3D animation require just about the same amount of work in all honesty. Personally, I'll be fine with Reaper 1, just as long as Nintendo does one thing, and this is going to be a small request, but I want you to pay attention. Could you please get better voice acting in your localizations? This is not something you can afford to be cheap about.
Thank you so much! Because seriously, we've been over the voice acting in these things.
I guess we better be wrapping this up, so yeah, in general, we're happy that Fire Emblem 3DS is going to be crossing the shores to the west, and frankly, from seeing all of this, it looks pretty awesome.
Yes it does, and I really can't wait until the character list starts filling out more, because that's one of the appeals of Fire Emblem.
Indeed. So far we only have 6 characters confirmed, well, 8 if you include Chrom and Evil Marth. Oh, another thing, side note, Sakurai, if you're watching this, make this an alternate costume for Marth.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. Because seriously, I would go as far as to say I prefer that costume to his original.
I'm not quite sure if I go that far, but I'd definitely say I prefer the design of Falchion to the original.
Generally, I just think he looks really far more badass.
Oh, definitely. If it really is Marth, dun dun dun.
But even if he isn't, he's so similar, you may as well add it as an extra costume.
That's true. I mean, they did it with Blood Falcon, and he's technically a completely different character, so... Oh yeah, that concludes this news story, and that basically concludes the Monkey broadcast. If you would like to leave us questions for next month, or if there is anything else you think we've missed, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. That's what it's there for. But that's the end for another month, so until next time, that was me, the Johnny Monkey.
And me, Sven the Crusader.
That was Monkey Broadcast, a monthly review and discussion show hosted by the Jonin Monkey and Sven the Crusader. If you feel that you've been the subject of slander or that your copyright has been misused, please PM me and I'll try and get round to fixing it as soon as possible. We also welcome any comments, be it feedback or your own viewpoints on any of the things we've discussed. Until next month, have fun kids!